right, all right. Hey, welcome everyone to Andromeda 7, your celestial gateway. Hey, it's good to be with you guys. It's that time again. It's Friday night. It's time to feed your mind and grow your heart, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Boy, we're excited about this one tonight. This is a really good topic, really good subject. But we thought we'd do something a little different tonight, and that is come in, welcome you guys, do a little chit chat, and then we'll run the video and we'll discuss it after that. My feeling, our feeling, Teresa and I were talking about it, that a lot of people are missing that first part of the show, and then they kind of roll in a little bit later. So that's why we've been starting the way that we have been. Just want to go ahead and acknowledge people in chat. Scotty boy, what's up? How the heck are you? Always a pleasure. Miss Chloe, our sweet Miss Chloe, good to have you with us as well. Thank you for being here. Nightwalker Sam, love that. That's great. Love it. Let's see, who else do we have? Oh, Charles, I sent you an invitation to become a moderator. So if you accept the invitation, we would love that you would be a blue wrench. Yeah. So I'll resend that for you. Hopefully you got and I wrote it down properly, but wanted you to know that. Let's see, who else do we have? People are rolling in. Good, good, good. Mary Wins, how are you? Always a pleasure seeing you. Yep. Top dog moderator, always has been from the very beginning. Thank you for your love and support. And we're talking back to 2020. So, wow. We've been doing this a while, haven't we, Teresa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like forever.
Yes, it has. So how's everybody's week gone? Everybody doing okay? Grandpa Brian, it's good to see you. Your smiling face looks like you're at the cabin. Yep. Thanks for being here. Our adorables, Nick and Jasmine, looks like they've had their dinner and they're good to go. And the kitties, I don't know where the kitties are, but I'm sure they'll pop up.
Show up.
Yeah, love seeing them. Hi, Truth Seeker. Good to see you as well. Hi, Elderberry. Good to see you as well. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Loving it, loving it. So what do you guys think about this title, The Power of Being Authentic? Authentic?
It's necessary.
She's got the power.
Yeah. Yes, we do. Yeah. Definitely. So we've got a lot of new subscribers as well, and I want to thank all the new subscribers for being here. We wanted to create a space where consciousness could be experimented with. We've been going through a spiritual awakening since 2020. The catalyst for me was my father when he passed away. I learned how to connect to spirit and everything that comes with it. So it's been an amazing experience. And everything that we do on the show are things that we go through ourselves. And each topic every week are really things that we're working with spirit, our spirit guides, each other, and what we've learned, what we've amassed, and what we bring to it. And then we pull this all together, culminate it into a show, and present it, and just kind of share it with you guys. So thanks for being on our journey. We have stepped into our power of authenticity, getting past, I remember the first couple shows that we did, and it was very difficult to be on camera and to have the world watching you. And so I had to really learn and step into being who I am. And this now moment is taken a lot of work and a lot of energy. And so this is that culmination of all that energy. So I want you to see what's possible with yourselves when you do step into that power. So I've created a video. Teresa and I work on this together, and then I pull it all together and I create a nice little video. And the videos are designed to help you understand the material and what we're going through and what we're expressing to the world. And I enjoy putting the videos together. It allows me to be very creative. Everything that goes into this show is a week-long process. So being on here for an hour to 2 hours a week takes all week to put this together. I do have some good news for everybody. I've been able to purchase a brand new computer. So I should not have these freezing and cutting out situations. So tonight we're just putting the intent that the old computer can handle one more show for us. Old friend, stay with us.
Buddy, do it.
Yeah, don't. And if it does go down, I'll be right back. But it is what it is. That's kind of where we're at. So
if we see you sneaking out, you're not really sneaking out. You're dropping out and coming back. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I want to thank the people that show up every week and that are in chat. Scotty Boy, Chloe, Truth Seeker, Elderberry, Lucky Stone, all of you guys. If I didn't mention you, it doesn't mean that I don't think about you or know who you are. It's just those are the ones that I can think of on the top of my head.
Mary Mansfield.
Yeah, Mary Mansfield. Yeah, gosh,
Dolly.
so many. Dolly, there you go. Hello, Dolly. Yep, she just popped in. How you doing? Good that you're here. All right, now that I see that there's quite a few people in here, everybody's on board. That's good. Let's go ahead and run that. What is it you say, Sophia?
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
I love it. I love it. So let's get to that, and I'll cue this up. And let's listen to the video, and then I'd like to know what everybody gets out of this video, and we'll discuss it more. I've got one little slide to show you that's a chart, and we'll go over that, and then just get everyone's take on it. How's that sound?
Do it.
Here we go.
Spell.
We are born into our humanness. We are not taught how to become our true, authentic selves. We are on a self-imposed journey of self-discovery, and those unique energies we have earned and amassed over lifetimes through certain events, situations, dreams, relationships, and ideas. We create the ego to discover new ways of reflecting our unique authenticity of our own creation. We compile an individualized energetic blueprint with specific guidelines and light codes that shape our new reality, all to experience, learn, grow, and teach us. It's in the accepting we learn who we came here to be. Have you ever wondered why you are experiencing certain situations that seems like you're in a bad dream? What am I supposed to learn from negative circumstances? Your authentic self, the soul, goes beyond what you do for a living, what possessions you own, or who you are to someone, or your current situations, or relationships. Your soul is equipped at your deepest core. It is about being true to yourself through your thoughts, words, deeds, and actions, and having these 4 areas match each other. Society increasingly values appearance over substance. There is much emphasis on material possessions, how you look, where you vacation, etc. It is almost as if we have forgotten the value of being a genuine person. The key to opening the doorway to yourself is your willingness to surrender all resistance to all the forms of your conclusions, beliefs, negative emotions, and needs. It doesn't mean you have to give up on your conclusions. It's the understanding of them and why you believe it. If you open up your ability to receive and open with no resistance, and the only way you can have no resistance is through surrender. If it's through restrictive fear or disbelief, or maybe feeling unworthy, fear, doubt, or guilt, or something karmic, or even limiting beliefs, then you can only receive a certain amount, and you have closed the door of ascending to the higher mind. Everyone is looking for external answers, instead of reaching inside your own support, love, and guidance system, and reaching out to those who understand this. When we surrender, we allow change, and change allows growth and expansion in ways you never thought possible. The power of being authentic is the ability to embrace your true self and be true to your values and personality. This can lead to a greater sense of self-worth, confidence, and overall being. Yes, indeedy. Yeah. I hope that was I hope that kind of got you guys into the flow of what we're talking about tonight. And I kind of want to start off real quick with you, Teresa, and what you got out of this video, and then we'll do round robin, and then I will go over a chart that I made to kind of help reiterate everything. But I want to know, how are you being your true authentic self these days? And you've done a lot of changing and learning and growing about yourself.
Yeah.
And it's been an amazing process, and I've witnessed that, and it's been an honor and a pleasure to be a part of that. But what are you getting out of that?
Well, when I was going back and forth with you on it, and before we put it on paper, and before you turned
Made it a reality.
Turned it into a script. It's just the recognition that we think we know our true self, but sometimes we've bought into perceptions, other people's perceptions of our true self, and we don't even realize it. And so we're acting and behaving in a manner that might be pleasing to others or coworkers or friends and family, when in actuality, sometimes we're really holding a space for ourselves, but we're not revealing it, exposing it, or sharing it. We're not letting that true essence come out. And it could be lots of reasons. There could be trepidation and fear or anxiety or trauma, whatever. It's, I think, like Scotty says here in chat, he's always known his true self, and he's always stuck to his true self. I thought I did too. I mean, he really does. That's really authentically Scotty. I've known him for a couple of years now, and he's always who he is, But I think sometimes we put a mask on for others.
Yep.
So we can be accepted in certain communities or groups or job situations, and we get so used to doing it, it becomes a pattern and a behavior over time. And sometimes it's not until you hit your 60s that you realize that's not me. That is really not who I am. And I've been holding that back. And I haven't released my true self. So that was my case. Now, other people, there were parts of me that have always been authentic. I've always been kind of a cuddly kind of person, and but I could also be very cutting and very sharp. And I developed that habit. So I think what goes into the mask is this mix of experiences, the not so good stuff for me, that became part of a mask that I had to feel powerful. It made me feel better. It made me feel strong. It made me feel in control. But it wasn't who I am. And so that's what that video script was showing me, is that there's layers, and exposing the layers.
So a lot of times we're operating from our past experiences. We're not in the moment moving forward. We're just constantly pulling from, this person did this to me, or this situation happened to me, and how do I change that? I don't want to change it. I'm happy with who I am. The self work that you do on yourself, you have to really want and have the desire to be a different person from who you are, or to make those subtle changes about yourself. For the most part, I love myself. I love who I've come here to be, but I really had to make some adjustments. And like you, Teresa, and you brought up a good point, was I didn't like some aspects of myself, and I wanted to change that. And I decided one day that I'm tired of being that way. I want to be more like this. And so, that's the carrot in front of you, that you dangle, that I really want to get there. I really want to be there. So yeah, amazing. Yep. Sophia, welcome. Good to have you with us.
It's good to
Take
be here.
a few deep breaths.
Yeah. Yeah. So the power of being authentic. For me, the word that comes forward is honesty. Because we're all the way we are for a very good reason. You guys have heard me say that over and over. And it gave me liberty when Spirit impressed me with that thought. And we are an accumulation of our experiences and the people that have come across our paths, beneficial or not so beneficial. Um, but I feel that it's best to be who you are, and per venue, of course. You don't want certain facets of yourself on the internet forever for the world to see. But being real, like we talked about the mask, it's a per venue. You can be your authentic self, but not amplify certain parts of you that are a little radical when you're sitting in the front row of a sacred sanctuary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Time and place, kids, time and place. But I feel it's our part to keep it real in a world that can kind of influence us to be plastic, to fit in. But is fitting in necessarily helpful for everybody else? Some of my quirks I've got some compliments on, so it's like, okay, I can be comfortable, but time and place and honesty. That's where I'm at.
Well, sometimes it comes about, Sophia, as a natural response to the externals, or it's your parents and your teachers and church leaders who are all telling you this is the way it's supposed to be. So you think you're doing the right thing by fitting in and going with
See, I never did that.
the crowd. And well, I did from a religious standpoint, big time, because my family was really staunch about it.
Yeah.
But when I started thinking for myself and researching for myself, I had more questions than I had answers. And so I was a salmon swimming upstream. I was becoming my authentic self. So whenever you're going, and you don't have to be a rebel. Elvis Presley. I was just watching a movie. Elvis, was made in 2020 or not so long ago, and it was really good. The guy that did him was really good. But he was the same way. He's like, no, you want me to do what? No. You want to meet the real Elvis? Well, here it is. I'm a badass. So it's like you don't have to go with it, but when you're a certain age, you kind of get into it because your parents are demanding it, and so it's like for me, it was I thought I was doing the right thing, going, and then when you're in business, well, then you learn different rules in certain business situations. Like Steve said, you wear many hats. And so you have different roles and responsibilities, and so you have to fit in order to make a living. It's part of who you, but you can bring your own unique style to it, and that's your authentic self coming out and saying, yeah, I have my own approach to doing it. I'll get it done.
Yeah.
But I'll do it my way.
Yeah, right. Mary Mansfield has an excellent comment here. I'd like to read this to you. I find authenticity more of a process than a goal. I completely agree. For as much as we peel off the expectations and perceptions, society keeps adding more layers to us that are more about conforming to the norms. That's exactly right. That's what I'm coming to find out as well. I noticed the other day when I was in the grocery store that people were being a lot more kind to each other. There was a lady in line. We had a whole bunch of groceries in a basket, and she just had a couple of items, and she just stood there very quietly. And my mom turned and looked at her and said, "Why don't you go ahead of us? We have a lot here." And she goes, "Oh, thank you so much. I have to go pick up my granddaughter, and I want to make sure I'm at the bus stop so that when she gets off the bus, I'm there to pick her up." And we were like, "No problem." And so I'm starting to notice that people are a little more kinder and more gentle with themselves in a way that I haven't really noticed. Maybe I just didn't notice it before, but yeah. What's up, Sophia?
Some loving encouragement from somebody I adore this week has been a challenge, and that was a well-placed encouragement. So sorry to distract.
Okay, you talking about Natasha?
Natasha?
No,
Okay. No?
it's
All right.
it's the president of my fan club.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
welcome. Welcome.
Yeah.
Natasha says authenticity is the daily practice of letting go of who we think we're supposed to be and
I like
embracing
that.
who we are. Absolutely.
That's what I was trying to say, but I couldn't put it quite. That's like, yay,
yeah.
Natasha.
Thank you, Natasha. That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Thanks for that comment.
Bravo.
Well said. Yeah.
Yep.
Bravo.
Yeah. I don't have any expectations anymore about anything. I try to stay in the flow during the day. I'm dealing with a lot of old, it's funny because sometimes your family sees you as who you used to be, and they don't necessarily embrace the new you like you do yourself. And so I'm finding a little bit of that, and that's kind of interesting. I'm seeing things completely different. Yeah. So Brian, what say you about how do you be authentic? And I've known you to be a very authentic person. And I've known you since 2020, and you are a unique, very grounded, very loving, kind person, and you are that. It's not a show. It's not a mask. It's who you are. What say you about that?
Well, it's really hard to find yourself because when you were born, basically your parents are trying to mold you into the person that they want you to be.
Mm-hmm.
Then all of a sudden you get into a relationship and that person is trying to change you to who they want you to be.
Yep.
And it's really hard to break out of that because it's been ingrained into you for years. Like I said, your parents trying to mold you into what they want you to be instead of just letting you be who you want to be.
Do you think that they think it's their job, that they're doing it out of love because they think that that's what a parent is supposed to do?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I hate to say it, forced religion.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're wanting you to follow a cycle that they did. Mm-hmm. They think this is the way that you should be brought up and this is what you should do. They're not allowing you to, find your own way. Yeah. If I decide, I want to go to, I want to make that decision that I want to follow religion. I really don't want that. So it's once you break free of basically the programming from your parents and really get in and find out who you truly are, that's when you can truly love yourself. And then once you love yourself as much as I love myself, then it's so much easier to love everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Free to be you.
Because you're just being you.
Mm-hmm. And some people have a hard time with that because they're so stuck in the societal norms of who everyone thinks you're supposed to be that they just fall into that. And it is in a way kind of a trap, but it's also, I think it's designed brilliantly because love is divine intelligence. And it's a way for you to experience yourself that you're not experiencing in an etheric realm or without the body. The body is the vehicle to experience what you're not in the etheric realms.
Correct.
Yeah. Interesting. Awesome.
I think it's interesting how some folks here in chat are making a comparison between being outspoken and being your true authentic self. Because I was very outspoken. I was in the principal's office on a daily basis. My mom had to come down to the school to bail me out because I was the same way she was. My mother didn't hold anything back. She was out there, but I still wasn't authentically who I wanted to be. I couldn't express myself, likes, dislikes, and certain things about myself, but I was outspoken as heck.
Yep. And Mary Mansfield says, perhaps it's time to change how we think about parenting. I completely agree. More focus on equipping our kids to find their own path and less forcing them onto something that may not resonate. Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's the one thing with my grandson. He has never had a religion forced on him. So if he so chooses when he gets older to follow religion or whatever path he chooses.
But it's his choice, right?
It was his choice. We never forced anything on him.
Yeah.
Well, except to get good grades.
Yeah. Well, you spend all this time in school, you should have something to show for it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sophia?
I think it's interesting that the conversation has taken a turn about our approach or how we embrace our authentic self and taking it back to the parental units. So, and so I say parental units because some people are good people, but they're not the best parents.
True.
So I'll tilt my hand a little bit. The whole world's watching. Why not?
Yeah.
So some people, from what reflectively listening here, some of us have had controlling parents. Some had parents with high expectations, and we have helicopter parents. And then you have those that were present physically and only. So I feel that there's value for all of us that have navigated our childhoods in unique ways. But I feel that that adds to who we truly are, which is the core of authentic. I agree, Scotty, but not all of us got that guidance, unfortunately. But I would say that it's I believe spirit allows certain things to happen. God, source, whatever name you want to put on there, they're one and the same for me. But I believe that it's allowed good and bad to add to who we are, because we really don't know what's going to come down the line. And for me, part of my ministry and contribution has to do with being to relate to people, to look them in the eye, to speak from the heart, and to relate, because sometimes people just want to be heard.
Yeah, acknowledged. Yep. That's a good
Keep
point.
in mind that parenting is an experiment too.
It's a privilege
Yes.
as well.
My parents had 3 before I ever came along, and the girls were 10 and 12 years older than me. So they're like, how come she gets away with this crap? How come she can, because they learned what Mary is saying here.
Yep.
Yeah. They learned how to, go ahead.
That's how we were with our daughter. We showed her some options based on what we believed and encouraged her to explore what she was drawn to. Absolutely. You're
They
encouraging.
learned it later.
But just as Sophia is making the point, not everyone has that for I don't want to say obvious reasons, but for reasons that help shape you for who you are going to become in your lifetime. And sometimes the hardest things you go through are your biggest lessons and teachers. Go ahead, Sophia.
Briefly, I'm of the persuasion of reincarnation. I'm also of the persuasion of soul contracts. I'm also of the persuasion that we pick our birthdays and we pick our parents.
Yep.
So
I agree.
A lot of the liberty that helped me take off the mask, if you will, which was not easy, it was a process, was recognizing that if I had a problem with my birth date or my life experience, I have to take that up with myself. I did that to me. And owning it and not trying to medicate it or do the escapism. It's like staring it in the face and be like, where's my lesson so I can get out of the mosh pit? Please and thank you, spirit.
And you're a warrior, Sophia. You are a pure and simple warrior.
Old, dude.
Yeah. Thank goodness you have that warrior spirit. Yeah.
I didn't have a choice. I didn't have a choice. And I'm just happy I'm still here.
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
Of it. Yeah. That's awesome. Good. Thank you. I've got a couple other things, but it'll be later.
Good. Okay. We'll get to it for sure. Nick and Jasmine, our adorable team, the youth of the panel. We love you guys. What do you say, Nick?
Well, first off, my perspective on masks is a little different from everyone else on what they were saying with it.
Uh-huh.
I don't see it as not being a part of myself because it's in my toolkit. If my masks weren't authentically a part of me, then this entire body is also not authentically me.
I like that.
Just a mask.
I like that.
So I don't see it as me hiding from the world. I see me as using the correct tools for the correct situation. But as you guys know, like I'm pretty like I don't really hide that much. Like I'll fall asleep on live. I'll eat on live.
Sorry, Laurie.
You know, Nick, I think it's important to understand too that we have worked really hard on this channel to be here and to present, that we have a responsibility to present to our audience and how important that is. And so I'll say this, the level of maturity is really important to show others and to be that example. It is what it is.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's just if I'm exhausted, I'm sleepy, and if I'm starving, I'm going to eat. That's
right.
That's my mentality on the matter.
Yeah.
But like when it gets serious, I can be disciplined.
And you are. I think you are. For the most part, you are.
Man.
And I love and appreciate that about you, because in essence, you are being your true authentic self. And there's nothing wrong with being your true authentic self. Not at all. Not saying that you aren't, but yeah, I just take it seriously. Yeah,
I do. I would, if I didn't take it seriously, I wouldn't be here.
Yes, and I agree. I agree with you, and I thank you for that.
Yeah,
yes, I really appreciate that about you. Yeah, but you have a great point, and I honor your point, and I see what you're saying. Yeah. How about you, Jasmine?
I think that's a good segue to like something that I was bringing up in the comments about. I feel some discernment is needed when we're doing this stuff, because it goes back to my whole idea that everything should be in a balancing act. Like maybe 60-40, doesn't have to be completely 50-50.
Yeah.
But at least knowing where you stand. Like maybe you might be a little more aggressive or a little more lax, but the point is that you have to know. I feel it'd be beneficial for people to know their extremes. Like when you're extremely people pleasing and you're denying yourself and you're denying yourself to a point of where you're hurting yourself, that's unhealthy.
Yeah.
So if you're denying your food, if you're denying your happiness, if you're denying, your safety, if you're denying your self-worth to make someone else happy, that's unhealthy, right?
Yeah.
But the same extreme of I'm going to do this because it makes me happy, I don't care how it makes other people feel. What are you talking about, really? You know what I mean? Are you putting people down because you feel little, and you making people feel worse makes you feel better? Like that's not healthy,
Yeah. It's a balance, really. It's that balance, the yin and yang. Yep.
Yeah. So
I think, point.
I think the question on both spectrums or both extremes is: are you hurting yourself? Or are you hurting someone else? Because if you are, you got to rethink your approach. But like if being authentic, sometimes for me, I've always been authentic as a kid, and my mom hated it because I would always speak my mind. I would even speak my mind to elders and religious men that would try to like tell me to go inside and be with the rest of the women. I'm just like, and who are you? And what do you want? Bible says not to listen to men, to listen to God. So I was that kid. I would argue your scriptures with you. Because they also would get on my case about being sciencey, and you guys know me that I really like science, so I studied biology and microbiology, and they're like, you can't do that, they're going to teach you about evolution. I'm like, they teach you about evolution in the 5th grade, like that has nothing to do with college. And my point is that I guess it's also an ADHD thing of where we don't really see authority, or if we do see authority and we don't value it, we won't respect it. So
that's what our parents are afraid of. That's exactly their concern. And it's like, if you have a test question or, I'll answer it the way I think. And they'll say, that's not what we were teaching. You weren't answering it the right way. And I'm like, but that's what I think.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like you should have seen like the whole when I brought it up during a Bible study and we're talking about Nephilims, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
yay, Nephilims! And they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, finally a crossbreed between humans and angels. Like, imagine the goodness that they could do. And they're like, no, they didn't do good. And I'm just like, did you guys let them, or did you guys control them? Did you guys like, because going on the subject in psychology, if you put someone in a box, right, they're most likely to act within those parameters of that box because they want to fit in and they want to belong. That's just a natural instinct. It brings up a good story of I did this psychology experiment when I was taking my psychology classes, and they were talking about the unspoken rules, right, and how to test those. So one day I was like, okay, I'm going to test these unspoken rules, and we had to write a report on it, and we had to do a project on it and whatever. So I did it in my own house, and I wore makeup, and I asked my nephews, who were like, the oldest one was 12 at the time, and I was like, hey, can you go get me a glass of water? And he's like, yeah, sure. And he did he got like the little saucer underneath the cup and brought me like tea bags in case I wanted tea, and I was like, here's your water. And I'm like, oh, thank you so much. And then the next day, I wasn't wearing any makeup, and I'm like, hey, can you give me some water? He's like, no, but can you go downstairs and get us both water? And I'm like, I guess. So I asked him the third day, I was like, hey, did you notice how you were so nice to me when I was wearing makeup, but when I wasn't wearing makeup, you weren't as nice? And he's like, And I'm like, can you give me a reason why? And as a 12-year-old, he's sitting there and he's thinking about it and thinking about it. And in my head, I have to count because when I have ADHD, like I want things fast. And my nephews are the ones that taught me to count because they're like, you're going too fast. You gotta let my brain think.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. So I'm sitting there counting, and he's thinking, and he finally came back to me and he said, you make me feel important when you're wearing makeup. And it makes me feel important, so I feel like I have to act a certain way to fit the scene, like if it was a movie and you were like a movie character asking me for a favor, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do my best. And then the next day, it just felt like a normal day life. It just felt normal and not important. And I was like, I thought it was an interesting perspective of what this 12-year-old was telling me of how he felt the pressure of acting a certain way because his outside reality was telling him something. So that's just something that I try to keep in mind, because as a teenager, being mouthy and like talking my mind off and saying my perspective, I only had one rule for myself. If I was okay and God was okay, I can give two shits about what anybody else has to say. That was my golden rule. And then and then I started having things that I could lose, because then I started becoming an adult and I started having cars and a job, and that tenacity isn't always valued, like my bosses would always be like, Jasmine, don't question me in front of people. And I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I don't understand. They're like, you're doing it again. You're questioning me. And I'm like, I just need to know why. What do you mean I'm questioning you in front of people? I'm like, you gave us directions. They made no sense. I was clarifying. And so
yeah.
After that, then you start having the social pressure of, well, if you don't behave this way, you won't have a job and you won't have food. If you behave this way, you won't have friends and you won't have, a social circle. If you know what I mean? So then you start having to pick, like, well, what's more important to me? Life and having money, or being authentic? So I think this is a really good topic because it's in all everyday aspects of life.
Excellent point, Jasmine. Excellent point. You're right. Yep. Wow. A lot of wisdom there, girl. You got a lot of wisdom. I'm always just pleasantly surprised when you speak. I love it. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
That's great. I did I put together a little chart, and I just want to go over this chart real quick if we can. I'll pull this up for you.
Yes, I love it.
So the power of being authentic, and you've got the real authentic self and you in the center, and everything else kind of stems off of that. But in my mind, the self-acceptance, that can take decades to get to that point where you're accepting of who you came here to be, when the whole time you're under the impression that you're not who you really want to be. So how do you do that? Self-acceptance is an important part, and that's just being authentic. It'll help you accept your gifts and your talents, and super important. Confidence, that's the other thing. How do you get that confidence that you need, that is required to be your true authentic self? So when someone says something to you and they want your honest opinion and you give it, and and many times you would just say what other people want you to say so that you could fit in, but the confidence to just be yourself, as Nick just did a few minutes ago, where he's like, this is who I am. He has the confidence to be who he is, and I love that. Fulfilling relationships, the same with fulfilling relationships, being around people that and in relationships that really help you learn and grow and be who you are, and not so much of what the other person wants you to be. It's such a fine line, and it takes sometimes decades to get through those relationships to realize, wow, was I being this way for this person and not my true authentic self? Was I more interested in helping the other person achieve what they needed to achieve instead of my own personal things? I mean, it's so vast and complex. That sense of purpose, we all need a sense of purpose. And sometimes we don't realize that we are the sense of purpose. Just being here, just having this experience is the purpose. But finding your passions, what you enjoy doing, what excites you, what gets you fired up, that's important as well. And taking responsibility for your actions, your thoughts, words, and actions is really important as well, because if you're not responsible for what you say or what you put out there or how you are with other people, then you're not being the real authentic self that you came here to be. You're being something other than yourself. But again, that process is to show us sometimes we need to know who we are not before we know who we are. And that's important to remember too. Look, I've had a lot of that. I'm done with that. I want this now. So we're always in a state of flux on that. And then the next one, practicing self-acceptance. You do have to practice that. It's not enough to say, I accept myself. You have to literally exude that and present yourself in that way, that I do accept who I am and who I came here to be. But it took many, many years. And I'm speaking from my own perspective. It took a long time to be who I was. And society's opinion and ideas of who I wasn't always true. It wasn't how I saw it. It was how they saw it. And I was labeled a lot. I was always labeled for things. Yeah, that's not me. This is who I am, and I'm going to be who I'm going to be. And you're just going to have to get it over it. I don't know what else to tell you.
I do. Let me ask you something, Laurie, with this chart of yours.
Yeah.
I love the fact that it's circular. Everything is circular and goes around the triangle, that solid base of your root authentic self. Have you noticed that it's layer after layer after layer? In other words, what your true authentic self is today, as you grow and expand and learn from different experiences, your authentic self might actually change.
Absolutely.
No one's saying here that you have one personality and that's it.
Right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. You're going to go through a myriad of all kinds of things, and it's usually within 7-year increments as well. I've noticed that about myself. The older I get, everything comes in these blocks of 7 years. Sophia, you have a comment about that?
You can thank Team Uranus for the 7-year situation, because that's a number connected to that planet, hence the 7-year itch. Not to be derogatory, but it is what it is. That's Uranus, which is outside of the box, the ruling planet of Aquarius. So that's where that comes from. And I have other a couple quick comments.
Sure.
Okay. A lot of what I'm picking up from this chart right here with the self-acceptance, the confidence, and how do we get to that point? Being is that I flew solo for most of my upbringing. It was, and that's why I was attracted to the metaphysics, because instead of somebody saying, be this, do that, do this, do that, you know, I was feral, free range Gen X, dude. I mean, good luck, kid. But for me, that's why I pursued the metaphysics with such intensity. And there's other reasons, but part of that is I had to figure out who I was for myself, because there wasn't anybody there with those guardrails and, you know, to keep me in between there. But I found my self-acceptance by being okay with myself in my own space. I didn't get that from other people. And I learned to stand up for myself, because no one was going to do it for me, you know? And then the confidence, I would say that took the longest for me to employ into this lovely collection of accountability, is what a lot of this looks like to me. And then just accepting your strengths, accepting your challenges. Over time, I feel both of them are tempered into a centered and balanced representation of what spirit needs on this physical plane, not only for your experience and to fill your contract, but your energy interacting with other people around. You know, I just feel that's part of the deal. So, and with that comes the sense of purpose, and it's very cyclical. I feel, you know, with the whole 7-year thing, it's like, be who you are, keep your eye on the ball, stand in your truth, and do your part to be the beautiful person that we all are when we learn to accept ourselves wholly.
Right. A caterpillar doesn't stay a caterpillar forever. It turns into the butterfly. So there is transformation. Yeah.
So
excellent
now
point.
You know this, and you bring this up, wild bird wisdom, because that's what you are.
Thank you.
Once you bring this up and you go back and you reflect just for a second on the circumstances of your life, now you can say it was freaking worth it.
Yeah. Once you get past the trauma and process the valid emotions and feelings deep down inside, once you get through the storm, once the dust starts to settle, once you step out of the tower and get to the star energy, you know, the peace, then you can use it to help not only give yourself strength and add to your playbook if you do what I do or whatnot, but it's part of the deal. This is a school. We're down here to learn. If you're coasting through it, that must be part of your contract, because it must be boring. So, you know, every situation per venue, and is your authentic self. Are you being responsible? Is your interaction with those around you helpful? I mean, while cracking a certain joke in a local pub may be appropriate, cracking same said joke in a place of worship, not so much.
Yeah.
So be yourself, but do it.
Mary Mansfield just backed you up. Chasing authenticity can be a lot like creating a sculpture. You chip away and remove bits of stone over time, hoping that you find a masterpiece at the end. It's always a work in progress. Thank you, Mary.
Yes, well said. Well said.
Awesome.
Perfection.
Jasmine has a comment. Go ahead, Jasmine.
I was going to say, to add to the 7 cycle thing, in science, your cells replicate every 7 years.
That's right.
Technically,
you are a different person every 7 years.
Literally.
Yeah. Just like the caterpillar. Yeah.
So I thought it was interesting that, like, not only did we have a scientific approach, a metaphysical approach, and an astrological approach that all said 7 years, which is crazy. But I do like your chart here. I feel like it brings up a lot of good points, especially like the take responsibility and surrounding yourself with positive people. Because like Sophia said, you know, if your joke is lighthearted and funny and other people are like so offended about your joke, then maybe you should take a look at who you're surrounding yourself with, because those people don't vibe with you.
Excellent.
And as long as you're not, again, hurting yourself or hurting someone else, I mean, maybe with jokes, that's my because there's dark jokes and sometimes so,
Yeah.
I mean, you just gotta find your people, find your vibe.
Mhm.
You know,
Read the room. Read the
Yeah.
room.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
discernment.
So surrounding yourself with supportive people,
Yep.
it helps build that social support system, just like you're talking about. That's really important. So yeah, when you're around people that don't support that, it makes it very difficult to be your true authentic self. But again, we have to find the strength within ourselves. Also, practicing mindfulness. Now, practicing mindfulness goes into like journaling or meditating, connecting within yourself, getting to know who you are.
Tell it. Tell
Who
it.
am I? Who am I really? I mean,
Yep.
and you don't find that by looking outside yourself. You have to really dive deep inside. You have to do the mental work, the shadow work, the
hard work.
Yeah, I mean, you really got to get to know yourself. And I'll tell you, some of the most powerful sessions I've had with myself was looking at myself in the mirror and literally talking to myself. Who are you? What do you want out of life? Where are you at? All the decisions, everything I've done in the past brought me to here. If you think about it, every single lifetime you've ever had, every incarnation you've ever had has brought you to this moment, to the people that are sitting in chat, to the ones that are on the panel. We are all coming together. It took us eons to be in this space and to embrace this situation and information.
Hey, can we talk about the fulfilling relationships bubble there for a moment?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, you all talk about it.
Oh, listen to that. Listen to that.
How does having fulfilling relationships bring out your real, authentic, true self?
Yeah.
Get a hotel room. I'm not talking about that.
Oh my gosh.
The adorables are at it again.
Oh, my
I love
bad.
that. I love
I
that
thought we
Nick
were on
did
topic.
that. Yes, you are on topic.
You
Nick.
are,
After the
sweetie.
show.
Are. Yes, I love that.
Damn.
And let us talk about the most important in my mind, and that is standing up for yourself. This is a tough one to do, to stand in your own power, just like you did, Jasmine, when you were little. You had all this strength and power, and you were exercising it, and you were just blowing people's minds, and they did not like that, did they?
No, not
Yeah.
like grown men. When they can't beat me with intellect, they would always try to beat me with strength, and I'd be like, "Oh, you're one of those."
Yes. Yes.
I got your number, buddy.
Exactly. Yes. God.
So again, like Mary Mansfield says, it's all of these aspects, all of these chipping away at that sculpture, and then creating who you want to be, the real authentic self that is you. And when you're finally sitting in that power and you feel good about it, it is the most amazing feeling. It really is. And there was something I wanted to say about surrounding yourself with supportive people. I can tell you the most supportive person in my life, honestly, is my sister. I have the most amazing sister ever in any lifetime. She's been my rock, my support. And there have been times where she'd be like, okay, and I'm going to curse here. She'll tell me, Laurie, snap the fuck out of it. All right, enough. And I'm like, what? Oh, okay. No, seriously. I am so blessed to have my sister in my life because she's been that rock. She's been that reflection for me. And she is an amazing person. And I don't know that I could have done this lifetime without a sibling like that. So I really wanted to put that out there because she's my rock and she means everything to me. So I'm not the person I am today. Without her being in my life, I wouldn't be this person. So, Sophia?
I got a shout out to my best friend for 41 years, man.
There you go.
Same. Life shows up. She's like, all right, let's talk about it. Come
Mhm.
on, let's go.
Yep.
And she's been there since the 4th grade when I got put into public school. God help them. But here in a little bit, I needed to make an announcement. So
Sure.
whenever we get to that point,
Yes, sounds good.
Surrounding yourself with supportive people
Absolutely.
is these are all important, but
Mhm.
I'm glad Teresa chose to
Yeah.
point that particular one out in the fulfilling relationships.
Yeah.
I like
It's
Mary
that-
Mansfield again. She's
Yeah.
contributing again. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Laurie. You want
It's
to
that
pull it up?
season, reason, or a lifetime. People are in
Yeah.
your life for a season, a reason, or a lifetime. Thank goodness. Let's see.
Maybe the place to start with the fulfilling relationships is to talk about the one you have with your own self.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Most of
there
us
you
are
go.
our own worst enemies, saying things to ourselves that we
Mhm.
wouldn't tolerate from others.
And we believe it. We believe it. Those
Yeah,
limiting
yeah.
beliefs that we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
That's an incredible point, Mary, and well said. Love that
Agreed.
you're in the chat tonight. Thank you for that.
Me
Yes.
too.
Yeah. So getting to your chart, you look at this group. All right. We had the confidence in ourselves to reach out to find like-minded people like what we were thinking. What we did, look at the fulfilling relationships, not only that we have on this panel, but also with all the people in the chat room.
Yes.
And
the ones silently watching as well. They're a part of it.
Right.
And they choose not to be in the chat, and that's okay. And nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But they're part of this as well. But yeah,
exactly.
I agree.
And then because of that, we're starting to find our sense of purpose, why we are coming together. And then we all know how supportive this community is for each other.
Absolutely.
But whenever someone needs healing, they reach out. Everybody's just going to help with healing. Whatever it is, we're always there for each other, just to talk. I know there's several times, some of the other ones don't know Ken, that Ken was going through a lot of stuff before he passed away. And, he would reach out and, not only to me, but to Teresa. And we were like his support net.
Yeah.
So this community is really, really connected, and we truly love and support each other.
Yeah, you bet we are. And we do that for all of us. So yeah, quite amazing. So yeah, I thought that was important to share that because it's important to be reminded of the things that make you the authentic self you are. Yeah, exactly. Sophia, you wanted to make a point?
Well, I keep looking at this word honesty. What this last 3 and 4 weeks has definitely been a challenge. But it's the season of Pentacles. That's what it's all about. Clearing the deck, getting ready for that spring equinox, that burst of energy to start new things. I'm pretty sure Facebook finally got some things in check. I made an announcement for those of you that saw it on Wild Bird Wisdom with my Name That sigil. So that profile is irretrievable, as is my personal profile. So honesty, vulnerability, using my support group, you find people, and the rest of those that I wouldn't want to walk this path without, you know who you are. So if you were, I don't think you can get to it anymore. And if you can, report it. So if you see my profile, which is my profile picture in chat, I can't even look at it right now. I'm still a little traumatized.
Yeah,
But
understandably.
that profile has been up and active for 14 years. And what I started it with, I can't get to that email anymore, so I can't retrieve it. I tried the help center. It was its own hell. Yeah, you drop the F-bomb. I could drop the H-bomb. Just
Yeah.
So my point is meditating and navigating this situation for my highest and best. My guides were like, steward, because you guys have heard me say over and over again, I'm a steward of my gifts, my possessions. And they were telling me, release your attachment, allow the lesson, do your part, keep going, and burn up the affirmations. When you find the end of your actions, employ the affirmations. And I feel not only is that appropriate with my Facebooks, basically getting hacked, and we're just not going to go into it, but they're gone, and they're gone forever, along with all the stuff that 14 years can accumulate.
Wow.
I'm very angry. But there was that name that sigil. And to my knowledge, I wrote down the people that, were participating. But in my frustration, I left that list at my house. I'm at the camp house, and I left it at the house at home. And I'm not really wanting to download something to juggle names to be fair to everybody. I'm not there yet, but I will be. And to button this little segment up, and thank you for giving me the place and space. So if you see anything between now and the spring equinox that has my name on it, I'm not actively on Facebook and haven't been for 3 days. So block it. And Spirit's been, because I'm like, I'm never doing it again, never having another Facebook, screw Facebook, I got a little tantrum going on there. And then Spirit's like, well, I love the fact that the people that, when they realized what was going on, they rallied together and they stood behind me. And some of them really said some scathing things to whomever was doing what they were doing. And it made me feel supported and loved and valued. And a couple people were like, we're going to miss your content. We're going to miss that. So thank you, Mary. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is traumatizing. You feel violated. It's like when somebody breaks into your car and steals something out of your car. You're like, why? What?
I got that T-shirt too, and they got a lot of DVDs, but it was on me that I left it in there, So I've learned a lot of valuable lessons, and not to beat a dead horse. Yes, I will honor the 20-minute reading once I get that paper, and once I'm able to bring myself to download anything onto my phone right now. And I will make good on what I say, because honesty and honor, I have a forward place for me. And perhaps I may have some kind of digital platform. I don't know if it's going to be Facebook, but they keep showing me the spring equinox, and that I'm to meditate on that. So I will figure it out. The 15 people that I know participated, I will honor that. There may be people that commented after the fact that I didn't see, and I can't help that. So I'm really doing the best with what I've got going on here. And I love all of your support through all this and everything else that's unfolded. So now that everybody can yawn and we can move on, to answer, name that sigil. Is this a good? Yeah, we're an hour into this, and then we can get back to whatever, if anybody has any questions on our content. Because that was good stuff, man. That was real good stuff, Laurie. Teresa, digging it. That particular sigil, I don't even have a picture to show. I don't know if anybody else does, but it was a purple vertical triangle with like some hooks around it, and it was purple. And that sigil is yay, thank you, Laurie.
You're welcome.
Nice, you're amazing. So that sigil is actually a symbol for venom, is the name of that. And it's the corner between the south and the west. And that's why, south is red, west is blue. That's why Team Purple showed up, because I am that individual. But venom is it's looking at both sides of it, because a lot of people think venom like, oh, a snake, it's gonna kill you. But venom is actually the cure, and the ailment. So knowing that balance, and there's alchemical symbols, wink, wink, Draco, that are connected to that. And then Teresa found a really good one before everything fell apart, with the connection to source, but it was inverted and a little bit different, and the same color. So I was impressed. But I feel that it's important to look to both sides of every noun, if you will, the projective, the receptive, the challenge, and the virtue. With that comes the balance and the wisdom. So thank you.
I got the venom, and I'm surprised by that, because
that was cool.
Well, I was curious.
I don't know anything about sigils.
Yeah. I was curious more about what Nick came up with. I thought that was kind of brilliant. What was your take on that, Nick?
It depending on what lifetime you're talking about, but it's a symbol that is in alchemy. It can mean one of two things depending on which table you're actually looking at. So one of them is the alchemical symbol for arsenic, which is why I thought it was interesting. Sophia said it was
poison.
Had to do with poison. The same thing.
You can't see it.
But it just like Google it, like type in alchemy symbol for arsenic, and it'll look almost exactly the same. Then in the other table, it's for one of the equipments that they use to transmute materia. It's I think it's called an alembic. 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 Is that how you pronounce it? But that's also a symbol. It's very similar to what she wrote.
Huh.
I thought it was interesting that she picked up on that. I thought she was talking about alchemy because on her profile page, she has the alchemical signs for earth, water, wind, and fire, and then there's salt on the bottom left corner on top of I don't know the other two, but
yeah, between the north and the east is where salt is.
Yeah, so yeah. I thought that's where she got it from, but
it's a different doctrine. It's kind of like how some doctrines kind of touch, the perimeters, and I feel that this is one of those cases because
multi-purpose.
right. And it's just like when the traditions pass and they metamorphose, just like the runes. When you go from the elder Futhark to the younger Futhark, while the rune may look the same, the meaning behind it has shifted over time, as does the people, like the 7-year itch, we change. So do disciplines and cultures, and somewhat to some extent, not across the board, but I've seen it. Someone might not agree with me. What's new? Moving on. But I just think it's a point of exploration to have that symbol, to spend time with it and to see what comes forward. It floored me when Teresa was telling me what she was getting back, and I'm just like, shut up. Don't ruin it for everybody else. But
I wasn't the only one who there were a couple of other people, if you're watching, I noticed your comments too, that were picking up on something similar with regards to God, source, whatever you call it, source energy, God entering into humankind with love, hence the open part of it, only it's inverted in the one you drew. But the triangle being mind, body, and spirit. And with regards to tonight's show on authenticity, I'm going to tie it in. That triangle of mind, body, spirit, and the God source energy of love entering into it is how you reach your authenticity.
That's right.
Yeah.
That is the expression of your soul.
Yeah.
That triangle is or it could also represent Father, Son, Holy Spirit in some traditions. If you flip it, you have Father, Son, Holy Spirit entering through love, the heart space, of your very soul.
I saw it as a triad of love.
the one thing that's coming forward is not only can venom be also kind of looked at as kind of medicine, it's not the object that does the damage, it's the dose, it's the amount. So I would say when it comes to connecting with source, for some people, connecting with their higher selves or whatever higher being they're connecting with is a type of medicine.
Inner being, yeah.
It promotes wholeness.
Yeah.
But if you pursue things to too much
Because
of an
that's what it
intensity,
is.
it can become toxic.
Yes.
So I would say the key to venom is time, place, and the dose.
Yeah.
So it can be beneficial in small increments, and it also depends on how sick you are. You're not going to give
Yeah.
the same amount of something to somebody. You have height, weight, age. I mean, and I feel that that particular sigil comes into play, and it's the wisdom of the action, which is the energy of the South, and the emotion, which is energy of the West, to know, you know, we all have our place, we all have our space, and having the wisdom to navigate life and being authentic in a healthy fashion.
Yeah.
That's where I'm
Agreed.
at.
Yeah. I
like
love
that-
where you're at,
That
Sophia.
thought-provoking stuff.
I love where everybody's at right
Good
now. Yes.
stuff, Witchy
Yes,
Poo.
it
Good
is.
stuff.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. So,
Teresa, go ahead, Jasmine.
Sorry, I was just going to touch on the honesty part that Sophia
Yeah.
was highlighting. When you're honestly yourself, you speak up about it and you defend yourself, or you speak up for someone else, or you speak up for what's right, or you defend yourself, you can also walk away. You know what I mean? You don't have to stay there. You can walk away.
Yep.
That
Good point.
honesty honors your blue chakra. Because
Yeah.
I noticed that with me, there I just bite my tongue and just grip my teeth and let it go, but I wouldn't really let it go. It would fester, and then I could feel like I would feel bad about it, and it would be on my mind, and then I'd be like, what? We chose the peaceable route. You know, we can't always choose the explosive route. So
yeah, sometimes it takes great strength to walk away or to just simply be quiet.
Yes. So I with that honesty, I think you have to be honest with yourself, kind of like how you said it with the exploration. You have to be honest when you're exploring yourself that sounds wrong, sorry.
Whoa.
Stupid ADHD. Be honest with your answers to yourself. Don't try to sugarcoat those answers or try to make excuses for yourself. Be honest with the reasoning of why you chose A, B, or C, and then work from there. And I find more comfort with people who are honest or who are a little rough around the edges. Because to me, it's like I'm not walking around a bunch of ticking time bombs. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I feel like the more I hang out with like normal people, or the more I hang out with people who are constantly masking and can never take a breather, I'm just like, what's gonna be the camel that breaks your back? Like,
yeah,
is it gonna be like your wrong Starbucks order, and all of a sudden, like it's tantrum city? Like, what? I am not at ease with people who do not know their own venom. So,
yeah, very true. You're on mute.
I'm getting it. I like that. I like that. Say that again, Jazz. The dose of your venom. Is that what you said?
Something like that. I don't remember. I was in the moment.
You dishing out some venom.
She'll be playing it back.
Yeah.
It depends on the dose of your venom. Venom's not bad, but yeah, it's the dose. Yeah.
Well, remember, some venom is the anecdote.
Yeah. It's always a derivative, a part of it. You're right.
Yeah. Wow.
What is that old saying? It's something about being bit by a snake. It's just that I can't remember the exact.
Let's go.
It's better to be bitten by an adult snake than it is a baby snake, because adults can control the amount of venom that goes into your body, where the baby snake releases the entire gland.
Yep.
Yeah, there you
They
go.
haven't disciplined themselves yet. They don't know how to control it.
Just scientifically speaking, I don't know if that's the saying.
Yeah.
No, that is true though.
No, that makes a lot of sense. But that's basically what I was trying to get at, was it's the amount. Yeah.
Yeah. What's that saying? There is such a thing as having too much of a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
Even water can poison you if you drink too much at one.
Too much of anything is not a good thing.
I told that on 1,000 Ways to Die. Literally, they were doing a water drinking contest, and someone wanted to win really bad, so they drank like 10 gallons of water, and they died from it.
Your blood.
Yeah.
I found it.
Okay, what is it?
I don't know if this is it, but it says it's not the snake that kills you, but it's the venom.
There you go.
Is that it?
That's it. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Not the snake bite that kills you. It's venom.
It's not the bite that kills you. It's the venom. Yep.
Do you remember the movie Spider-Man and the guy that did the Venom?
Mm-hmm.
I forget what it was called. Spider-Man and Venom? Was that his name? The character Venom?
Yeah, the dark guy. Yeah.
So they're one and the same, but they're different.
Mm-hmm.
One is out of control and out of balance and maniacal.
Aspects of the self. Yeah.
Yeah. So one's.
Yeah. Well, listen, you guys, we're coming to the end here, so I want to get to final thoughts. And I thought, let's start with Nick and Jasmine for final thoughts, and we'll bring it all the way around. How's that sound? Final thoughts, Nick?
You go first.
She said Nick.
Nick.
I'm not ADHD. I have to think about it.
Oh,
I'll eat cold cereal for that one, boy.
Oh, there you go. Being your true, authentic self.
Hey, Jazz, you know how to stretch real quick?
To wrap it up, I guess I would say is to be your authentic self, you have to know yourself. And knowing yourself is the key to any foundation of yourself. If you're thinking about how to become a better person, a better spouse, a better work, whatever you want to improve on, you have to know what you're working on. You have to know what you're standing on. And if you don't know what you're standing on, then all of those improvements, they're not going to go anywhere, because foundation, self-confidence, self-security, that all comes with the self. So if your self-confidence is coming from your title or from your car or from whatever you deem as valuable, once that's gone, who are you? So that's the real question, is once all of those titles and all of those masks are gone, what are you left with? And you have to look at that person and be like, hey, I love you. I might not like where you are, but we'll get better and we'll work on it.
You can change that. Yeah.
Exactly. You have the power to change it. You have the choices. You have the free will to change it.
Yes.
It might be hard, but that doesn't mean it's impossible.
Exactly.
So everybody is born their worst critic. You have to be your own cheerleader. Kind of like how Sophia said, how she started to parent herself. Be your own cheerleader. Be your own hero. You don't have to wait around for something or someone or a reason. You can do it because you want something different or you want something better for yourself. That's the only reason you need. You don't have to wait for the stars to line up, for you to get the lottery, for you to get that promotion. What is stopping you from smiling from your heart? Why is that stopping you? That's the question you should ask.
Big hugs for Jasmine. Thank you, Jasmine.
Well said.
How you feeling about that, Nick?
Yeah, follow that up.
Oh yeah, I can. I am me for a reason.
That's right.
Yeah, the audacity just spews everywhere. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So I want to elaborate a little bit more on why I brought up my whole eating and sleeping comments.
Okay.
Because to understand authenticity, you have to be able to differentiate the differences between what's true and what's truth. So yeah, me eating on live or dozing off on live might come off as disrespectful to the one that is unbeknownst of who I am as a person. But what they don't see is the fact, well, yeah, I'm eating because I haven't ate for 6 hours and I was running out of time, so I wanted to be here. So that's why that happens. Or I'm dozing off because I just hauled my caboose. That's the word I was thinking of. All day at work, and like today ruined me. I had someone caused a $55,000 fine, so I had to put on my big boy pants and fix the problem. So that put more work on me on top of having like 3 people absent. So I had to do their jobs on top of it. On top of that, I was late for getting my ride today because of circumstances. And then on top of that, I had to build a couch.
Okay, you're echoing. Go.
On top of that, I had to haul a couch out of storage, haul it in the house, and then put it together in only an hour before we were to get on here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna be tired. And
yeah,
like,
understandable, Nick.
It's not
understandable.
disrespectful. It's just I'm not going to force my body to pretend it's feeling something it's not, because that's how illnesses start.
You know, Scotty Boy being Scotty Boy.
Yeah.
Get over it, Nick. He. It's all good.
That's him. He's a jokester. It's fine. It goes with the plot.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Exactly. Well, Nick, we love and appreciate you, and we honor you for who you are, and we can appreciate that you had, some busy days and things going on. So we get it, and we understand that.
Yeah. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because again, with the truth versus true reality, someone can preach you the truth, and everything they're saying is correct, but it will only be like half of the pie, or 1/4 of the pie, or 3/4. If you're like me, and you want the true reality of everything, you will hyper focus on what's true. That's why I like to bring up not so popular opinions.
Yeah.
Not necessarily because I agree with them. Sometimes I do, but sometimes I don't. But just because I want to show people
your true authentic self and your perspective. And it's honored and appreciated here. Absolutely. So thank you for your time and energy and being here with us. We do appreciate it.
I think he also wants to play devil's advocate to help make people think.
Yeah. Very much like Dalibor would do, huh? We love that. So thank you for that. Yes. Our Dalibor Jr. over there.
Yes.
Grandpa Brian, how about you, my friend?
Be true to yourself. Be true to who you want to be. Know that your imperfections are what make you perfect and unique. So don't let anyone ever tell you that you're not perfect, because you are, because everything about you is who you are and who you want to be. And that's perfect.
You're perfect, whole, and complete as you are. Yep.
Exactly.
I agree. Well said. Well said. Miss Sophia? We also call her Witchy Poo. Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. The power of being authentic. It's hard to say anything else because the adorables cracked it over the fence. GP knocked it out. Just rock this lifetime, man. Don't let it hold you down. Just keep going, and shine. I mean, even if your Facebook gets hacked and 14 years are flushed down the toilet forever, I have my happiness. I have my health. I have my wealth. I'm going to shine and do other things. Wink, wink. In spite of it.
Yep.
In spite
Absolutely.
of it. It's won and lost right
that
here.
That doesn't mean that we can't express it.
Yep.
You have the right to be upset. Just don't stay in the pity pool.
Yep.
Yeah,
agree.
Life's a lifeguard.
Like keep going. You can cuss the entire time while you're doing it, but keep going.
Yeah.
Feelings are valid. Feelings are valid.
Yes, they are.
It makes us who we are. Just keep rinse, repeat, man. Let's keep going. Let's do this. Let's go, Spirit. Let's go.
Thank you, Sophia.
Yeah.
Love and appreciate you. Teresa.
Yeah, we do.
Final thoughts, my dear. Also, you're in that pool of supportive people. I didn't want to leave you out of that, but it was important for Kelly to know.
Oh, I agree. You have the best sister in the world from what I understand. And what little bit of interaction I've had with her, I would have to agree. So it's all been good. And she reminds me of my sister and I, our relationship.
Awesome.
We had a wonderful relationship for the longest time. I do miss her dearly.
Yep, I bet.
But she's still with me. You know?
Yes.
Okay, so I had a couple final thoughts here, but I'm going to try to narrow it down here, given the time. I like what the Three's mom, I hope I'm saying that right, the Three's mom said in chat, because it's kind of follow right on this. Can you bring up that picture of the flower for me?
Yeah, you bet.
On January 12th, I posted something on Facebook, for those of you who follow me, called You Are Enough. Okay? And it was basically saying what this flower is saying on Laurie's t-shirt that she was wearing today. And I thought, oh, how apropos. If you take a look at the stem of the plant coming out of the ground, there's two pieces there, courage and authenticity. And so they are a foundation, I believe, of the all the nutrients you need to start the plant growing is courage and authenticity. It takes the courage to find your authenticity sometimes, because some things in life have just been so crappy for some of us. Others, it's a little bit easier. But once the plant receives those nutrients and starts to grow, if you take a look at the center of the flower, it says you are enough. And the petals that come out of that, which is basically where the pollen is, it's where the nectar is, the honey of life. And it produces these petals where it says, I'm tough, I'm powerful, I'm loved, I'm valued, I'm smart, I'm strong, I'm bold, I'm brave, I'm kind, and I don't know, the courageous or something.
Capable.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I couldn't see the C. Thank you. I am capable. You don't just grow those petals without an understanding that you're enough. But like anything, is a life cycle where a bee will come and pollinate and take it to another plant and help it grow, spreading the nectar, spreading the honey. And so getting back to living your true authentic self is accomplished through exposing the essence of your energy, as well as your soul essence, your characteristic, your personality. So it's the most natural source that there can be for lasting, loving, and united interpersonal, as well as soul relationship experiences. That's why I was focusing on the bubble about relationships, because I didn't have anybody like Laurie has with her sister. I had it with Lynn up to a point, my sister, and I have it with Darlene, my other sister, up to a point. And then all the other relationships have been based on something where either people thought I should be a certain way, or I had expectations of what they should be like. I'm guilty too for having expectations. So realizing that I'm enough, and they're enough, and Laurie's enough, and Sophia's enough, and all of you are enough in your own unique way, helps to build relationships. And I sent an email or a message to Sophia a few days ago. There's this natural law. There's a mode of natural law. It's called the law of interiority. And it's about a lot of things, but let's just focus on the key element. It emphasizes authenticity, value, and love. So nothing in nature lives for itself. Rivers don't drink their own water. Trees don't eat their own fruit. The sun doesn't just shine for itself. Living for each other is a rule of nature. without others, there wouldn't be a whole lot to experience now, would there?
Nope.
And we're here for the experiences, right?
That's right.
So be like the honeybees. They make honey to store food for their colony and they collect all that nectar and a storage house of sugar that they create so that they have the resources when they need it the most to strengthen the colony, to help others that don't have enough food. So living your true authentic self is giving to others and service to others. And so that's kind of it. It's of course, it's an act of nature. So you already are your true authentic self. You just don't know it sometimes.
Well said. Well said. Wonderful. I would just like to say something out of my journal. When we limit our beliefs about ourselves, we follow a false narrative. Releasing its hold allows the soul's energy to come to the forefront and reflect our inner being. Free will is choice. Be in love with life. Be the frequency you know you are. The authentic self is the soul made visible. Don't trade your authenticity for approval. Love is divine intelligence. Yeah. Cool. Well, you guys, that's it for us this week. Hope you got something out of it. Appreciate everybody that's here, everyone that's in chat, and those who are watching silently. Thank you all for being here and showing up. And all the new subscribers,
Absolutely.
We greatly appreciate you all. And we look forward to seeing you next week with a new show and a new topic. Until then, peace, love, and be your true authentic self.
Later.
Laters.
Bye.